I had an arterial venous fistula, my brain growing into each other, and blood doesn't flow out. Work at a public school, have Taiwanese national health insurance. Been in the States, I would have put off dealing with this issue
Because it's expensive?
ridiculously expensive. I got the bill, I looked at it, and I thought there was a mistake. Tear rolled down my face when I realized this was the final bill.
Today, I'm meeting up with two very special guests. They live in Tainan. They have come to Kaohsiung for the first time on a motorcycle trip since they've been here in Taiwan. To my right, Justin, and to my left, Leah. When did you first meet?
I love telling
you
this
love telling the
I love
story.
telling this story. We met on Tinder. In
Yes,
South
no,
Korea.
no, yes.
Can you tell them why you chose my picture?
Oh, you really did meet on
We
Tinder.
did, yeah, we did.
Yeah, we
Oh,
really
yeah,
did.
yeah.
I thought you
And we were in South Korea. It was just 2017. And we had a conversation on the phone that lasted 7 hours. And I
Wow.
thought, I might actually like this person. Maybe. But we should meet in person to find out.
I think the thing that most attracted me to Justin was as an introvert. So where are you from? What do you do for a living? So why are you on this app? Those are things that are not interesting to me.
Yeah.
And Justin being the extrovert who loves to talk and has these wonderful stories that he shared.
Do you remember the day you met? Like where, like after the 7-hour conversation, where did you meet? Was it at a bar, a coffee shop?
We met at a coffee shop. And I was really impressed because he was tall as he said that he was.
People do lie about their height on dating apps.
So why were you in Korea?
Teaching English. I had left New Orleans behind. I was purposely transitioning into a new life with intention and purpose of doing something new. And I had no intentions of being locked down.
Okay, so, and then why were you in Korea? Were you
Teaching. I was
teaching
teaching as well, yeah. I took a leave of absence from my job and decided to go abroad for that year, and then decided that I really actually loved what I did and stayed, so.
Did you live together in Korea after you, at some
No.
point, or you were just dating at that point?
Just dating.
Okay, so then from Korea, what happened then?
From
Justin's
then,
gonna, oh my gosh.
she abandoned me and went back to the United States because she wasn't quite sure, where this was really going, I guess. Didn't know if she
That's
felt
honest.
the same way. And I moved on to
Honest.
Vietnam to further my adventures.
Oh.
And one day she's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm in Vietnam having a great time, Leah.
Justin's story is totally exaggerated, is what
Of
I'm
course.
saying.
Where was home at this point?
Seattle, Washington.
Seattle, Washington. Okay, so you went back to rainy Seattle.
And I went home and I decided that I did not want to go back to my corporate job, but I was going to go back to Korea originally.
How long were you in Seattle while he was in Vietnam?
What was it, 2 months?
2 months went by roughly,
Yeah.
and then you went to Vietnam. And then did you live together at that point, or separate places?
Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother story.
Oh, okay.
We did live together, but we made sure to get 2 separate bedrooms.
By the time we came back to Vietnam, we had
That's
only
cool.
been dating for like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're
3
right.
or 4
3 or 4
months.
months.
So going
okay.
to Vietnam with the intention of living together is not something that we
It was
wanted
moving
to
fast.
do.
For you, it was moving fast. For
Way
him, he
fast.
was like, I'm
Go with
What are
down.
you waiting for?
Flow,
Yeah.
yeah.
What are you waiting for? Let's do this. Let's do this.
Let's go. My wife wishes we had separate tiny homes connected by a hallway.
Oh my gosh.
be honest
don't-
with you,
God,
don't-
can I meet your wife?
You guys are
is it
definitely
an
gonna.
introvert extrovert thing?
She's an introvert. I'm an extrovert. She's very aware of her need for having her own space. Intimacy actually could be even more exciting if you had separate rooms. So it actually makes sense.
I'm never gonna get cuddled again.
As your channel talks about health, that mental
Yeah.
health is also very important. I have been a solo traveler for all of my
Wow.
life. I really enjoy it. And when I met Justin, I had this conflict because I really liked him, but I knew that I really wanted to venture off. And I've been used to traveling solo. I haven't been used to sharing my space or my energy with anybody else. And then we got a place together. And we had 2 separate spaces, and that's it. And we created adventures in Vietnam, and that's when our relationship started to grow and to bloom, and we got to know each other. And we were in Vietnam for
Three years.
3 years, yeah.
And that's where the YouTube channel started.
All right, so yeah, spent 3 years in Vietnam, and then we decided to come to Taiwan.
We visited Taiwan first on a whim. We had some extra days off from work. We said, where can we fly relatively cheap?
Yeah.
We flew to Taiwan. We're like, never been, let's go.
Was this during the pandemic?
This was
Right,
just before.
right
Well,
before the
we,
pandemic.
You didn't. We had 2 trips back to back.
Oh,
we
okay.
came. We had an experience
Yeah.
in Taipei, and we just thought these people can't be real. They're too
They were
nice.
so nice. So
like
too
absurdly
helpful.
nice. Yeah.
Too considerate.
Yeah.
Leah had moments where someone was coming to be helpful, and
Yeah.
we just couldn't accept. Like, what do you want?
we did try to understand it, and we tried to use logic. Okay, maybe we look like tourists, and that's why they were nice
They were
to
pandering
us.
to tourists. That's
Maybe
why.
they knew that we didn't speak any Chinese, and so they were wanting to be helpful because they knew
wanted
that
to sell us something.
and we stood out because we had backpacks. We tried to rationalize.
So we came the first time. Didn't believe that it was true.
We went back to Vietnam.
Back to Vietnam, that's what I was
and
asking.
worked
Okay.
for another 2 weeks, and then had Chinese New Year off.
Yeah.
And then we came back to Taiwan.
2020.
Yes. And we went to a different part of Taiwan because we just couldn't believe. We thought that, well, maybe it was the city that we were in.
We tried to justify. We
Maybe
tried
it
to
was
say,
the city
this
that we were
neighborhood-
in.
We went back to Vietnam because it was just a holiday. So we went back to Vietnam. Leah went home to America.
Oh,
the pandemic
okay.
hit. I'm in Vietnam, and I'm having flashbacks of when she left me previously in South Korea. And it was 8 months. Was it about 8 months we were
Yeah.
separated?
Oh, okay. And why were you in America for 8 months?
Went home to go see my family.
Okay.
My father had just recovered from a stroke. I hadn't seen him in 2 years. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not in a panic like everyone else is in a panic. So Justin called in a panic.
Okay.
He was like, they're closing the borders
But he
in
was
48
right, though.
hours.
I
Borders
told
are
you not to
closing."
go home.
48 hours you got on an airplane?
I did not
Oh,
go
no.
back.
No,
That's
she
why we
didn't.
were
Oh.
separated
She said-
for 8 months.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so 8 months go by because you can't.
Can't
I
come into
can't go
Vietnam,
back.
but I want to get back together. Where can we go? We wanted to move to Taiwan.
Yeah.
They were the only place managing the pandemic well enough. We were already thinking of moving to Taiwan because of our experiences. Let's just bump it up a year. We got job offers in Tainan.
Good choice, by the way. It's one of my top favorite cities. It's old school. That's what I like about China. And what's your feeling when you look at those stairs up there?
Feeling that I'm having is a little tightness in the chest, but an insistence to do it because I need to do this. I need to do this.
Oh my goodness, and look at that view.
We were actually wanted to come to Kaohsiung first, but there just wasn't anyone hiring in October, and we got a unique opportunity to get 2-month contracts for schools in Tainan that were really in need of teachers. So we just took those contracts, and then we ended up staying because we did enjoy Tainan. I think we prefer southern Taiwan in general.
What has been the highlight of living in Tainan?
I'm surprised how much I enjoy living outside the city. We live in a very rural part of it.
What's it called?
Shenhua. And when we look at our back balcony, we can see the different fields of vegetation that, and when the rice changes color, and it's just really pretty. And there's
cool.
lots of sesame being grown there.
Oh, so it's really a countryside.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool. So I was watching your channel and you had a situation where you forgot your bag, lost your bag, left your bag somewhere.
That was in
Hualien.
Hualien. At that point of having been here almost a year, we'd gotten used to leaving our things behind. Keys, wallets, bags, to the point that I just started assuming someone would just bring it to me or hand it to me. This
It's
world-
Taiwan, don't
it's-
worry.
Exactly.
If you lose something, it'll be returned to you.
It happens all the time. So I was kind of expecting it, and then when it didn't happen, I didn't know how to react. I didn't know what to do. And then someone said, let's go file a police report. And then lo and behold, eventually it was,
We had a police escort.
police
They
escort.
found it on the train. Someone,
cleaned the train and found it.
yes, and then returned it. We had a police escort.
They flagged us down.
To
They
go-
flagged us down and said, "Come on!" And we have your wallet. And as we're walking through, I'm like, "Is he a police? He's a police officer." He gets in a car, turns on lights. I'm like, "All of this
Like he gave you an escort, literally.
to go pick up the wallet."
Wow.
I know. That's Taiwan.
So that's happened many times?
Yeah, we were at the Science Center in Taipei,
Okay.
The Science Center.
and we're playing around and having fun.
Yeah.
And we look down, I was like, "Oh, look, someone left their bag." And then Leah goes, "Wait, where's our bag?" "Oh, that's our bag." It's been a year since I've had the surgery. So
What was the surgery?
I
Yeah.
had an arterial venous fistula, which that means is your arteries and your veins somewhere in your body will start growing into each other and blood doesn't flow out properly. So I had that in my brain. And I work at a public school, so I have health insurance. I have Taiwanese national health insurance.
Which is an excellent thing to have.
Yes, because had I not had that insurance and had I been in the States, I would have put off dealing with this issue until there was a bigger issue.
Is that because it's expensive in the States?
Ridiculously expensive. Ridiculously expensive. Like this whole process, this whole thing, I could actually go to the ATM and pull the amount out and pay for it. Like that was the most beautiful thing is literally I was crying when I was paying for it because I could very well pay for it. When I got the bill, I looked at it and I thought there was a mistake. Is this all? I said, this is it. And a tear rolled down my face when I realized this was the final bill. So, thank you, Taiwan.
How long did you have this disposition with your brain before you discovered it?
It had been going on for some time. We'd been dealing with it, and Leah had been asking me to go to the doctor when we were in Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
But in Vietnam, you have to pay everything outright before you can even get seen by a doctor. It took a little while to get it discovered. I went to NCKU.
Yeah.
I will say that NCKU was great.
How long did the surgery? Was it a one day, like a few hours you went in?
The doctor went in with the intentions of it being a 2 to 3 hour surgery.
Oh, okay.
And he was in there 6 hours, Leah?
Yes.
Wow.
In there for 6 hours.
That's a long surgery.
It was great to have this surgery done because I could afford it.
Yeah.
Because the doctor did a great job. I wouldn't have gone to the doctors had it not been for Leah's persistence and love and support. So thank you to Leah.
Surgery went well, and Leah was your support system.
My everything.
Your everything, yeah. In Leah's position, you're living abroad, trying to help Justin, but also deal with your own emotions.
Right.
How did you deal with the stress of that, being in Taiwan, not having your own support system, and having to help him recover and deal with this situation?
I think dealing with this situation was very enlightening.
Yeah, for sure.
I learned a lot about myself. I do think because of how long we waited and everything that we went through that I developed caretaker's fatigue.
Like you're not dealing with your own emotions and taking care of yourself, basically.
Yeah, and it's basically where you build up like resentment, to work all day and then to have to go to the hospital and then come home and prepare and
like a love-hate situation.
It really is.
Yeah.
It is like a love-hate situation, and I found that early on, and so I had my mom, who is also a nurse, help me through that, and then I also did therapy.
This was online therapy?
Mm-hmm. It was an online therapist.
So it was a therapist in the States.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think it's important to talk about mental health. Like, don't be afraid to seek therapy if you need it. Was the therapy helpful?
Yeah, very.
There were a few other things that helped you.
I did a lot of meditation, did a lot of self-reflection, and I had to learn to separate what I was feeling and having compassion from where Justin was coming from, because this is really scary for him. I mean, we've been going through this for a year.
Plus, it was hard.
Yeah, it was difficult.
I'm relating to what you went through with Justin. My wife had really, really, really bad postpartum depression.
Oh.
And I was trying to be that for her, but I found myself having my own breakdown over it.
Yeah.
And I had this guilt inside me, like, how dare you, like be worried about you when she's going through this. And it was like, I hated myself at the time. But I should have gotten some therapy is what I'm trying to say. So I'm glad that you did get the therapy, and sorry, you were saying about your mother as well?
Yeah, my mom is a nurse, so she is fully aware of what compassion fatigue or caretaker and compassion fatigue looks like. So she walked me through.
Oh, so lovely to have your mom be that person.
Yeah.
Now. Thank you, Mom. What's your mom's name?
Carol.
Thank you, Carol.
Yes.
And meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share with my audience how beneficial meditation is to you?
I think meditation is something that I've incorporated in my life for a long time, and it helps me set my intentions. It helps show clarity and not get wrapped up in things that don't matter. It's what you focus on matters. You become, yes. And so people, when you're not consciously aware of your thoughts, you let the day happen to you instead of you creating the day.
Can I ask you, are we programmed to not create your dream reality system?
Well, we're always creating.
The most important thing is your intention.
Yeah.
What do you want it to be? What do you want from this moment? Make it happen. I feel like
we did that with Taiwan when they were saying that we couldn't get in. I was like, I'm not listening to anyone else. Like, we're gonna make this happen, and
we did.
And we did.
Awesome, you came at the right time.
哇，这个优质的创作者就赶快去 follow 他哦！你有发现其他更具爆红潜力的影片吗？赶快投稿给达人秀吧！点击下方观看更多有趣内容。